Today I'll be reviewing the Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation from L'Oreal. Stay tuned. This is the Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation from L'Oreal, and this is in the shade 125 Cappuccino. When it comes to drugstore foundations, I just get really nervous because of the undertones, because for some reason they think all black people have red undertones, and it just isn't so, sis. This kind of scares me. Don't know where we're going to go with this, but we're going to roll with it. This, of course, will be a first impressions, just because this is not one of my regular staple luxury foundations that I have, used throughout the years. With all of my years in the beauty industry, what I've always learned with foundations specifically is to never panic, especially like with when it comes to the shades, just because a lot of foundations oxidize, so I usually don't freak out, but we'll see. So now I'm just going to go in with the sponge. It feels extremely light on my skin. I don't feel anything on my skin. Man, these drugstore foundations, they have stepped their cookies up. You see that? At this moment, you couldn't tell me I wasn't using a high-end foundation because this bitch. I'm actually getting disappointed as I do this because they have a concealer that goes with this collection, and it was completely sold out at the CVS I was at. I actually went to 3 CVS's, so only 2 had the foundation, and this one had they had like a tower at an end cap, and it was like saying it was brand new. So I don't know if it is really new, whatever. Maybe it's new to that location, but it was gone. All the concealers were gone. Yo, this is so pretty, y'all, for real. This is beautiful. I like the way this is going so much. I'm gonna use this as my concealer. I'm not even gonna put on a concealer. It matches really good. So like I said, I'm just gonna use this as my under eye concealer, and I'm gonna set it with my La Mer powder, and that will be it. Ooh, look at that. La Mer powder makes everything. And I will go in with a little bit of my Mario Badescu spray. The Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation from L'Oreal is a standard 1-ounce tube, 30 ml. It retails for $15.99. However, of course, with drugstore makeup, that'll vary depending on where you get it. It comes in 30 different shades, and it is designed for normal to dry skin types, as it is a radiant foundation. It also has broad spectrum SPF 50, which is something that you don't really run into a lot in foundations. Per L'Oreal, it notes that it has vitamin B3. It's a hydrating serum for all-day hydration, even skin tone, provides natural radiant finish, lightweight formula that doesn't settle into lines. So as far as first impressions go, I'm thoroughly impressed. I think this foundation looks absolutely beautiful on my skin. As this is advertised, this is definitely a natural radiant finish. It looks absolutely beautiful on my skin. It's just a subtle radiance. It just gives my skin just a little bit of luminosity, which I find to be very beautiful, and I'm very impressed by it. And what's nice about this too is that, I could actually go to a drugstore and get this and, actually see all of the shades available, which was pretty impressive. Just to know that, they didn't just have 1 or 2 deep tones. They had, the full 30 shades, which I don't really run across. I mean, then again, I don't really buy drugstore foundations all the time. So it was pretty impressive. I do like that it does have a hydrating serum in it. It's just probably more than likely just a basic hydrating serum. It's nothing like a Guerlain Super Aqua, which of course that skincare line is one of my favorite skincare lines of all time. If you're somebody who's normal to dry and you happen to be, someone who needs a burst of hydration, buy Super Aqua. The entire collection, not just 1 or 2 things. As we get closer to the summer, I will definitely be revisiting this foundation just because I feel like it's the perfect summer foundation because of course the coverage, I would say it's more of a almost sheer to light, borderline buildable medium, or we could say a light to buildable medium because it's a very light coverage. And even when I actually put it on, I had to put a lot on my hand so that, the product would actually show up just because I felt like it just wasn't giving me that much coverage. So that's probably the only downside to this foundation is that the coverage really isn't ample. You're really getting just a light, buildable medium type of coverage. But as I previously noted, just on appearances alone, if this is how it looks upon the first application, then I will definitely try this out because I think I'm getting that whole Almay feel when I put on the Almay foundation. You can check that video out, how I just instantly fell in love with it. I feel kind of feeling the same way. This may be a radiant counterpart just because it looks so good. Like, it looks absolutely beautiful on my skin. And it's this subtle radiance. Like, it's not, over the top glowy or anything like that. It's a very sophisticated radiance. It's the best way I can describe it. Sophisticated yet drugstore. Who knew? And that's really all I have to say about this one. So definitely in the comments below, let me know if you've tried this foundation. Have you tried the concealer as well? Because I really want to try out the concealer, because if this is what the foundation looks like and the fact that I use the actual foundation as my concealer, then I'm super excited to actually find the concealer. So if you have tried this product and if you've tried the concealer, please leave a comment below. Let me know if you love it. Just let me know if you hate this foundation. Have you worn it out and about? Because again, I will do a revisit on this later months. I'll give, let's get little, into the summer. Well, actually, let's get to the summer and let's let a few months pass by, and then I'll definitely do a follow-up video to let you guys know about this. I've used so many foundations. I've tried so many foundations throughout the years, and I've worked with so many. Once you apply one, it's you kind of just know. Like, that's kind of how I feel about foundations. Like, it's hard sometimes just because I've used so many different types, and especially with drugstores, the reason why I know foundation is good too when it comes to drugstores is that drugstore foundations tend to beat up on my skin within minutes. I've had this foundation on actually for well over 2 hours, and it looks exactly the same as it did before when I first applied it. Also, I should note that it does oxidize a bit. So the shade that you saw at the beginning, of course, it calms down, so it definitely does oxidize, which again is something that I'm seeing with every drugstore review that I've done. But back to knowing. It's just when you've worn foundation and you've tried countless foundations and you have actually worked with these foundations, you kind of just get a feel for what's good and what's not. And you kind of just know upon, the immediate application. Of course, granted, it does, some foundations surprise you hours later. But overall, I'm usually not really shocked that something improved later in the day. If it sucks at the very beginning of me applying it, it's going to suck later. And if it's great at the beginning, it tends to be great at the end, but we have seen some disasters. But again, in my case, I don't have an oily, skin type. So it's not something that looks beautiful in the morning and then it turns into like an oil slick at night, because my skin's going to look the same. So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, definitely leave comments below, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with a whole lot more, guys. Bye.